I hope you're having a great magical day where you are, as I'm having a beautiful, warm, sunny day where I am. The weather's so gorgeous outside today here in Ohio, and I am loving it. So this episode is going to be talking about Disney Vacation Club pricing and going over some of the pros and the cons and answering some of your questions. Some of you were great. You left questions. Some of the questions y'all left I had already planned on addressing, and then I jotted down a few to make sure that I cover them for you. One of you had asked what was the bag or the item that we had received when we got our DVC documents in the mail, and I'll show you really quick since one of you had asked. So when you join Disney Vacation Club, guys, they give you this cute little tote right here, and it just says welcome home, and it's just got Mickey and his little suitcase, and it's just a canvas bag, and you just open it, and it's got a zipper compartment if you're interested, and it's got the little Disney Vacation Club on the inside, and then the top zips, and it's also got the little Disney Vacation Club emblem on there too. But it's just this big, huge tote bag decorated on the inside with Mickey ears, of course, and it just says here, Disney Vacation Club member. But yes, you get this nice little tote bag when you join Disney Vacation Club. So one of you, Joanna, had asked a very good question, and I jotted down her question, and it was, well, actually she asked different questions, but I actually did a little video segment for y'all on this particular question. She had asked me, just wondering if biggest expense isn't the room, are you still saving money? So that's a really good question. If you remember, I had talked about Disney Vacation Club said that your room can be up to 60%, okay? Up to 60% of your whole Magic Your Way package. Now, we're not talking airline tickets. We're talking park tickets with Hopper, dining plan, and even if you decide to buy Memory Maker, it can be up to 60%, okay? And what I did was for y'all, and I'm going to include that little video, is I did what I call a fake Disney booking. So I went over to the Disney website and I booked a Disney vacation. No, I made sure to say, guys, this is not an official booking, but it's to show you how we traditionally, you know, book. I will be, in the video, you will see that I will be booking a Disney Polynesian Deluxe Studio. I will be booking park tickets with Hopper, and I will be booking the regular dining plan, and I will be adding Memory Maker because we always purchase Memory Maker. So it'll give you an idea of the grand total of the trip. And what I do is I break it down on room rate, park tickets, dining plan, and Memory Maker. And you're also going to see what the room rate is before the package deal, because I actually click on the package deal and update the cart. And you're also going to get the opportunity to see how much a bungalow is for 7 nights, 8 days at the Poly too. And I'll come right back really quick to talk to you, but doing that video kind of gives Joanna and the rest of you an idea of just how much that room rate is versus the overall Magic Your Way package. So let's watch that video clip really quick, okay? Okay, guys, so this part of this DVC information, I wanted to try to do what's called like a fake book out with y'all, where I go into the Disney website and I try to do a book out, like try to do, you know, a trip, because I'm just looking at my computer screen, and Joanna Christoph, I hope I said your name right, but part of her question was just wondering if the cost of the room isn't the biggest expense and you're still paying for the other cost. Are you still saving money? And that's a good question. I tried to touch on that in my last video where I was explaining that our highest cost is our room, and even when I combined dining plan and Memory Maker and park tickets, my room is still my highest cost. So that's why I'm going to try to go ahead and do a fake book out with y'all really quick. So let me get over to the room rates. So guys, this is a fake book out. This is me pretending I'm booking a Walt Disney World trip. And I chose the Deluxe Studio. I did 2 adults, 2 children. I did it during this time because this is like the only time I'm able to, you know, book. I mean, I tried other dates, but Disney just said they were all booked up. So this is what I was able to pull up. And guys, I'm even doing a package here. I'm not just doing a room rate. I can go back and do a room rate. I don't know if it'll be available, but through a package, this room is available. So for this room, okay, I decided without the package, I should say this was just room, okay? That's the price of the room, but I'm going to do the package. So I'm going to update my cart because I decided to do the package. If you're curious, guys, that's how much a bungalow is. This is all cash, okay? This isn't through DVC points. Yes, I want to update my cart. So I'm going to update my cart. That is my room rate without park tickets or anything right there. No ticket. That is my room rate they're going to give me. Okay? And I wrote it down right here. I already configured this for y'all. There's my room rate. I decide that I want to do the 7-day ticket with admission, but I want to do park hopper. So I'm going to incorporate park hopper in there. Okay? If you notice, it changed my price. It changed it right here. I wrote it down right there. There's my new price with park hopper. Okay? The difference between this number and my room rate is right here. So that kind of gives me an idea of what they're charging me for when it comes to 4 people for 7-day ticket with park hopper. Then I go ahead and I come back to my screen and I hit continue. Okay? You gotta wait for it to do its thing. And hopefully this is gonna help some of y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the regular dining plan. Sometimes we alter between dining and then sometimes we alter through deluxe dining. But I'm going to go ahead and do this. And again, guys, this is a fake book out. I'm not booking a Disney trip. I'm just giving you an idea. I hit continue. And keep in mind, there's my new price right there with this dining plan, $7,840.45. I wrote it down right there. I took that difference from that and I got this number. So roughly, that's how much they're charging me for a dining plan. I hit continue, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and add Memory Maker because our family always does Memory Maker. And keep in mind, this is a package deal, folks, okay? So, there is my new price right there. And I hit done because I am done. I got dining plan. I got a deluxe studio at the Polynesian right here. I got a deluxe studio at the Polynesian. I got a 7-day ticket with park hopper. I got Memory Maker. And I got the regular dining plan, guys. And that's not adding my airline tickets yet. But that is the total price of my Walt Disney World vacation if I was to book right now. So, what did I do here? There's my park. There's the difference between this and my room. As you can see, my room rate is costing me more than my park ticket. There is my dining. There's the new rate. The difference between this number and this number is $1,664.73. As you can see, it is less than my room rate. My park tickets cost less than my room. My dining costs less than my room. And then I go ahead and add Memory Maker to it. Adding Memory Maker, that's the new Disney Magic Your Way package price. The difference, they're charging me $148.98 for Memory Maker. When I combine this number, plus this number, plus this number, and I add it all together, that is how much the difference is. Okay, so Memory Maker, dining plan, and park hopper is roughly costing me $3,885.43. And this is my room rate. When I add this number to this number, guys, where is it? This number and this number together, I get that number right there. So as you can see, my biggest expense is my room. And guys, like I said, dining plan doesn't save us when they give us what they consider free dining. It's our room rate. But even when Disney gives us 25% off, our room rate is still the highest rate. And that was doing a package deal, okay? So, and then with Dan and I have noticed through the years when we book with Disney, and we save our Disney receipts when we book from our travel agent. A lot of times, I'll use a small number. We'll take $75. Let's say the room's $75, okay? And then the following year, you notice, well, my goodness, that same room just went up $25. Now it's $100. But Disney turns around and gives me 25% off the room. Guess what? Now it's only back to $75. So, did I save that year on my trip? Yes, I did. I saved $25. But I mean, the point that I'm trying to make is a lot of time when we get the 25% off, it does save us, but a lot of times it is the same price that we paid maybe last year when we went to Disney for our room. So, I mean, you have to consider that. Let me take something really quick. Let me do something for y'all. Let me see. 4104. I was trying to take last year's rate, but I can't find it. I was trying to take my rate from our trip for 20 that we just got back on. I can't find it in my phone right now. But we didn't get a discount. We did not get a discount on that room at all. So we didn't get 25% off, nothing. So I was trying to pull up the room rate to compare it to what I just pulled up today, only because I'm curious to see what the price difference was. But that kind of gives you an idea. That's just a fake book out. And if you notice, my room rate was the most expensive. So DVC for us is really going to work because we don't have to worry about those rates going up, because the rates will continue to go up across the board. But you'll notice those hits at Deluxe Resorts if you plan on staying there. So hopefully, Joanna, I answered that question for you. So let's go back and talk more about DVC. So guys, I hope that little video clip kind of shed some light on the whole Disney vacation when you're looking at your room and you're kind of breaking it down. In that video, I was also trying to pull up our trip that we just took for 2017 to get the percentage for y'all, and I wasn't able to look for it in my travel agent's emails that she had sent to me. But I wanted just to make sure that I talked about this sheet once again with y'all, and you just saw it a minute ago. So Dan and I kind of did the math when he came home. Roughly that trip would have been like 52.6% of our bill would have been our room. If you want to round the 0.6 up to 53%, you can do that. But as you can see, our room rate was going to be the highest even when you added memory maker, dining plan, and park tickets. It still just didn't, equate, okay? I did pull up our email from our 2017 trip. I was able to find our room rate because on that particular trip, guys, our room rate was 58% of our overall Magic Your Way package, not counting airline tickets, okay? When DVC is telling you we could save you up to 60% on your room, they're not thinking airline tickets, they're thinking of just the Magic Your Way package. But our February 2017 package, guys, we did not get a package deal. We did not get a deal on dining. We did not get a deal on our room. We didn't get anything, okay? And I paid for our room up front as far as I booked the room 400, I believe it was 449 days out. The 2017 packages had not come out, and then I added the package when it came out. But when Dan and I go back and we look at it, our room rate for the Deluxe Studio at the time we went with no package deals was 58% of our overall Magic Your Way. I looked at our last trip that we took with the boys, it was 55%, and we did get 25% off our room at the Disney Polynesian on our last trip with the boys, and we stayed in a standard room, which is 2 beds and 1 bath. And on that trip, our room rate was 55% of our overall, our overall package. So as you can see, our room rate is never 50-50. Our room rate is always higher. Now you can get to that 60% mark or even higher when you start dipping into like the bungalows. I mean, you saw the rate for the bungalows, 22 grand, guys. So to answer your question, Joanna, yes, our room rate is always the highest, and hopefully that example kind of, you know, clarified that up some. So even when you take the room rate, just the room rate, guys, and you multiply it by 7 or 8, depending on which DVC package you buy, you can easily have DVC paid for in 7 or 8 trips, depending on which package you buy, just based on your room rate. If you take your overall Magic Your Way package, then you could have it paid when you think, oh my goodness, I could have DVC paid in 4 or 5 trips, you know. So keep that in mind when you're considering those high rates that will continue to increase as time goes by at Disney World. So pricing, I know y'all are very interested in that. So I did that video the other day. I'm just going to include it now, and we're going to talk about how much Disney Vacation Club costs. So let's check that video out, and I'll meet you right back here. So guys, this is the price sheet for the Disney Polynesian Villas and Bungalows, okay? There's more than one price sheet. I will try to go through each price sheet with you. You get this price information with your information packet that you request by mail. The packet that I said that you receive with the free DVD. You get the points book and then just information about the different resorts at all the Disney World properties, or Disney Corporation properties, I should say. So this particular finance sheet that we're going to be looking at is based on 10% down with an interest rate of 12%, okay? The prices on each sheet is the same. So if you look, your minimum points that you have to buy if you're going to be doing Disney Vacation Club is 100. Okay, each point is valued at $176. Now I know that that has gone up since since Bonnie purchased it versus me. She purchased her DVC through Polynesian in the summer of 2016. I purchased mine in the end of March 2017, and guys, the price per point has gone up. So right now at the Polynesian, they are selling each point at $176 per point. You have to buy a minimum. Now this is how much it is for 120, 140, and then you move down to 150. And if you notice, when you start getting to the 150 mark, they start offering a credit value of 100, or right here they offer you 1,000. So then that would bring your total to 25,400. So when you start getting into the higher numbers, they start offering incentives. 160 points is 28,000, but there again, you get a credit. So it brings it to 27. And I'm just going to kind of zoom out. So 175, 200 points, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 600 points, 800 points, 900 points, and you, as you can see, you can just keep going. When you start getting to the 1,000 point range, they start offering a little more incentives. So for 1,000 points, instead of $176, it would be $159. And I'll just kind of zone in on these really quick so you can look at them. This is the price per point, but they're offering you an incentive, so this would be your new price. Okay, right here. Okay? And then as you move down, remember, these are the number of points to your left. I'm holding my camera while I'm doing this because I can't get it to zone in on my tripod. So these are your points. This is your price. but these are your incentives. So for 2,000 points, it would be 334,000, okay, as opposed to 352 because they're offering you these incentive credits. Okay, and then there's this category, and then there is this category. Now, if you're going to be putting 10% down at a 12% interest rate, this is how much you would need to be putting down based on these price points. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go like this and kind of show you. Okay, now I'm going to talk about financing with Disney versus not financing with Disney, and also talk about the option of paying for your Disney Vacation Club all up front. Okay, over here, guys, is your dues. So if you're going to be buying 100 points, this would be your dues for the year, or you can go to a monthly. Okay, so this is based on how many points you buy as to what dues you would be paying. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of run through that. This is based on 150 all the way down to 900 points. This is based on 1,000 points all the way down to 2,000 points. And again, guys, this is a financial sheet based on if you're going to be putting 12% down. If you decide, well, I can put more money down, so let's say you decide to put 20% down, and your interest rate is at 9.99. That's an interest rate that Disney is also offering. Again, guys, there is your points. If you're going to finance, then this right here would be your money down. And then a 5-year note, that would be your monthly payment. And on a 10-year note, that would be your monthly payment. So Disney does offer financing. Okay, and that is with 20% down at a 9.99 for a 5-year or a 10-year, to kind of give you an idea, okay, of all the different pricing based on points. Price of the points don't change. What changes is your numbers when you go to finance. And of course, your due prices do not change. What changes based on financing is your payments, okay? Then I come over here, and this is 10% down at a 14 2/4, okay? So again, for example, we'll take 100 points. This is the 10% you would need to put down. This is your payments on a 5-year note, and this is your payments on a 10-year note, okay? This is 120 points. This would be your payments if you bought 120 points. This would be your payments if you bought 140 points, 150, 160, 175, 200. So guys, I'm not going to go through each one, but this is just to give you an idea. Again, that's if you put 10% down. Then if you decide and you qualify, let's turn, I got a couple of pages here. So based on your credit, let's say you want to put 20% down at a 12% interest rate, then again, these would be your payments. Disney vacation points don't change in price, and neither do your monthly dues. What's affected is your monthly payment. So through Disney at a 12% interest rate for 100 points, 5-year note, 10-year note, 120, 5-year note, 10-year note, 140, 5-year note, 10-year note, and so far. But just to kind of give you an idea of what your payments would be. Then Disney also offers a 17 2/4, which is an extremely high interest rate. That's why you should shop around for good interest rates, and that's based on 10%. But again, they do offer a 17 2/4 interest rate. And Disney at 20% down offers a 14 2/4% interest rate. And that is the different interest rates, guys, that they offer. But again, I will show you the pricing. So you want to look at your points and your offer price. Guys, this is not calculating closing cost, so keep that in mind. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So right here, there's your points, there's your prices. Just kind of do that one more time for y'all. Okay? Now, as far as picking points and how many points you should be picking, and kind of like how Dan and I did it. So they're selling at the Polynesian, right? So let's go over to the point chart and I'll show you how it works. I'm looking for Disney Polynesian. Okay, so this is the Disney Polynesian point chart. Let's bring it up here for y'all. Kind of do it this way. So we look at the time of year. We look at adventure season. Fortunate for us, it's a big benefit because Dan and I's favorite time to go is always in December. So as you can see, to stay Sunday through Thursday, it's only 16 points per night. To stay Friday through Saturday, it's a higher point. So Fridays and Saturdays, you're going to find as you look at each, section time to go throughout this whole booklet, you're going to find that Fridays and Saturdays, your points are the highest. Sunday through Thursday, they're the lowest. So to stay a week in Disney, if I take Sunday, that's 16 points, Monday 16 points, Tuesday 16 points, Wednesday 16 points, Thursday 16 points, Friday 19 points, Saturday 19 points. I would be using 118 points to stay at a Deluxe Studio standard view. Now, if I want to stay at a lagoon view for that same time frame, as you can see, the points increase because based on my room view. And then over here, I have a 2-bedroom bungalow, which are the ones on the water. As you can see, they are much higher points. Okay, this is known as adventure season, choice season. And as you can see in choice season, my points are higher. Higher than here, higher than here. Then you have dream season, okay? As you can see, my points are higher here than they are here or here. Higher here for a week than here and here. Higher here for a week than here or here. Then you have magic season, okay? As you can see, my points are higher here for a week versus all the other ones, and so forth, okay? In bungalows, look at that, lots of points. Premiere season, these are gonna be my highest point times, right here. And that's blocking it right there for a week, and right here for a bungalow. This is a lagoon view, this is a standard view. And these are the Deluxe Studios, and these are the bungalows. So as you can see, guys, points vary in the amount you use based on the time of year you go. Now this is Disney Polynesian. This is my home resort. I have 11 months that I can book out here. So how do I determine how many points to buy? Well, based on my home resort, I definitely know no matter what, I'm always going to need 118 points. So based on the price chart, I would be looking somewhere between 120 points on down, because I know I'm always going to need at least 118 minimum, okay? And I want to try to avoid borrowing if I have to from each year. So I know here I'm going to need a minimum. Now, based on the amount of points we were looking at, I know that I came over here and I looked at the max I would need to stay in a bungalow. But more importantly, I took my Deluxe Studio, okay, and I looked at the max that we would need to ever stay in a Deluxe Studio. So 269 between 118. So I know between 118 and 269, I would need to be buying some points. So we start off at 120 and then go all the way down to 300. And this would be the price range that we would be looking at. If you're somebody who, for example, let's say the Polynesian is your home resort, but you're somebody who loves to stay at the Grand Floridian when you go, or you always wanted to stay there. So let's go over and look at the Grand Floridian's points chart, just to give you an idea. I gotta find it. Because if you're somebody who's going to want to stay at the Grand Floridian, for example, and you know you're going to want to try and book there 7 months out, okay? Because at your home resort, you can book 11 months out. At your non-home resort, you can book 7 months out, and I will go into that in a little bit. So at the Grand Floridian, they have deluxe studios, 1-bedroom villas, 2-bedroom villas, and 3-bedroom villas, or grand villas, I should say. So adventure season, okay, same time as staying at the Polynesian, it's 118 points to stay there, but look here. For a standard room, it's a little bit more, it's 125. For a lagoon view, it's 148, and that's a deluxe studio. For 1 bedroom, it's 247. For a lagoon view, it's 296. For a 2-bedroom villa, it's 340. For lagoon view, it's 407. And then for a 3-bedroom grand villa, it is 824. So if you know that you're going to be somebody who's always going to try to book the Grand Floridian 7 months out, then I would recommend looking at their point chart. Even though it's not your home resort, you want to make sure you have enough points. So here, the least amount of points you would need for a deluxe studio is 125. The least amount of points is 247 for a 1-bedroom. And I would just kind of go through, you know, I just kind of go through the charts. I look at the other resorts also, guys, to try to figure out if you have another resort you want to stay at. That's why I recommend getting the information. That way you can look at the prices of each point and kind of reference to the book to figure out what choice would be best for your family as you're thinking about how many points would I need to be buying in order to stay at the various, you know, different resorts throughout this booklet. I'm not going to go through the whole booklet with y'all because this is free information that you can request from Disney, but that just gives you an idea how the point system works within the book. This just gives you a, you know, how much each point is currently selling at Disney World. And again, this is the Disney Polynesian Villas and Bungalows. So let me turn the camera back around and chat with y'all a little bit more. So guys, I hope that video section was a little informative to you as how much DVC currently costs as of right now. Now you have to keep in mind the Disney Corporation can change the pricing of points at any given time. I know Cooper Creek Villas is getting ready to open up at Fort Wilderness Lodge. As we speak right now, I believe they're already starting to sell DVC points there, and I don't know the current price, so I couldn't answer that question, but it could be a little bit more, it might be a little less, I don't know. You would actually have to contact Disney Vacation Club regarding that. But as you can see, there is a price point, you know, for different points, okay? So it's not all, this is the price, this is how much Disney Vacation Club costs. It's based on points. With Disney Vacation Club, you can buy points, and if you decide later to add points, you can contact them and say, I want to add points to my contract. But once the points are all sold out at the Polynesian, for example, where we bought, then they're sold out. So we also have to keep that in mind. What you can do is with your points is that you can bank them. So let's say you don't take a Disney trip for that year, you can turn around and take those points and bank them, and they kind of just sit on hold. So for example, our 2016 points, because they gave us 2016 points and 2017 points, I banked them to be on the safe side. They're good until November of 2018. So they're 2016 points that I banked that are good till November of 2018. So you can always bank the points and then use them later. If you end up in a position where you don't have enough points, let's say you decide you want to stay at a different deluxe resort other than your home resort and you may need a couple of more points, then you're allowed to borrow points from the year ahead. Okay, so keep that in mind. And if it's just 2 or 3 points that you need, then I recommend maybe just buying them. They're not that expensive if you just need 1 or 2 or 3 points. That way you're not tapping into next year's points. So because like I said, if you know in the video when you saw this book, points are different at each resort. So that's why I said when you're thinking about what point price to buy in, consider the resorts that you want to stay in and kind of try to get something that can accommodate those resorts. So the next question that one of you had, can you buy at any deluxe resort or are you restricted? So guys, as of right now, Disney Vacation Club is actively selling at Disney Polynesian Village Resort, okay? They're actively selling there right now. Like I said, Cooper Creek at Fort Wilderness Lodge is opening up, and I believe they are already starting to sell points there, so they could actively be selling there right now too. They are not actively selling at the Grand Floridian. They're not actively selling at Bay Lake Towers at the Contemporary. They're not actively selling at the the Beach Club, okay? They're not actively selling at Saratoga Springs or Old Key West. Does that mean that can't be your home resort? Not necessarily. Where they're currently actively selling, meaning where DVC is advertising, and like they're advertising the Disney, Polynesian right now, okay? That's where they're openly selling. But let's say, for example, you really wanted the Beach Club. You really wanted Beach Club, and they're not actively selling. They're not advertising. What you can do is you can contact Disney Vacation Club and ask them if they have any contracts available. Because a lot of time, if someone buys into Disney Vacation Club and for whatever known reason they can't afford the payments, okay, and they foreclose on their contract and they're not able to maybe resale their DVC contract through the DVC resale program, but for whatever reason they foreclose or there's other unforeseen circumstances, what happens is that contract then diverts back to Disney Vacation Club, and guess what? That resort may have a contract. Okay, or 1 or 2 resorts may have 3 or 4 contracts. Disney Vacation Club doesn't openly advertise, hello, we have contracts over here. They're actively selling at specific resorts at any specific time. So just because you may not see the resort you want doesn't mean you can't call to see if they have any contracts. Now keep in mind, if they do have contracts, it may not be a price point that you wanted. For example, they may have a contract on, let's say, 400 points, okay? Well, maybe you didn't want 400 points, maybe you only wanted 100 points. They may be like, well, we don't have a contract for that. We have one for 400. So you kind of have to call Disney Vacation Club and see if they have any contract buybacks, especially if you want to buy directly from Disney Vacation Club themselves. So you really need to keep that in mind, okay? So the answer to the question was, when you buy a DVC, you can't pick your home resort. It's whatever resort is actively selling at that time, And you can also double check to say, is there any open contracts maybe at one of the other resorts, especially if you're interested in another one. Maybe you're interested in Animal Kingdom or Grand Floridian or Old Key West or Saratoga Springs or the Beach Club or Contemporary. You know, you actually need to call Disney Vacation Club and see if there's any contracts that they bought back that they're willing to sell. So if you're interested and not purchasing from Disney themselves, Disney Vacation Club, you can go on several different sites that's called DVC resales. If you just type in Google search DVC resales, there's people out there that are actually selling their DVC contracts. They no longer want to be tied to it. They no longer want to be committed to it for whatever reason. So they're selling them. And guys, you can buy resale, but keep in mind there's a little bit of cons going on there. And one of the cons is you're buying the remainder of that contract. When you buy directly from Disney Vacation Club, you're buying a 50-year contract. So let's say that person had it for 10 years. So when you buy the contract, you're buying it for the remainder 40. If they had it for 25 years, then you're buying it for the remainder of 25 years left on that contract. You're not going to be buying it for 50 years. It's whatever's left on the contract. Another thing too is you have to consider Disney Vacation Club, as of April 4th, 2016, changed their policies on resale. They're not saying you can't resell, but what they are saying is, as of April 4th, 2016, whoever buys a resale DVC contract is not entitled to all the perks and the benefits that come with buying directly from Disney Vacation Club themselves. So if you bought a resale contract prior to April 4th of 2016, you're good. You're grandfathered in there. But if you bought a contract after February 4th, 2016, then you are not entitled to all the same perks as Disney Vacation Club members that actually bought a contract from DVC themselves. Now, if you want to purchase Disney Vacation Club through Disney, but maybe you, and one of you left a comment saying that your home resort is the Disney Polynesian and you just got done buying a contract from Beach Club, okay? Now, the Mousketeer that left that comment didn't elaborate how she did that, so I don't know if she bought the contract from DVC or if she bought the contract through resale. But it's almost like playing Monopoly, guys. So, for example, we bought DVC through Disney. So let's say we fall in love with the Beach Club, or let's say we fall in love with Fort Wilderness and we're like, man, we want to buy some points here. It might be more beneficial to us to buy resale because it's a little cheaper than if we bought directly from Disney, because at this point people are needing to get rid of these contracts. So you might be able to get a better deal buying resale. But however, for Dan and I, we get to keep all of our DVC benefits because we have a contract that we got through Disney Vacation Club at the Polynesian. So we don't lose any of our benefits because we bought originally from them. We have our deed at the Polynesian. We're just now buying more contracts up, more deeds, more or less. Like I said, it's like Monopoly. It's almost kind of fun, actually. But the only difference is that you're not playing with Monopoly money. You're playing with real money here. But hopefully that answers the question about can you choose whatever resort you want to be your home resort. So hopefully I touched on that. The other question was somebody had asked if Dan and I are going to be trying different resorts. And the question is yes. Dan loves Epcot and we both like the Beach Club. So that will probably be something we will eventually do. We both like Fort Wilderness Lodge, and with the new villas being built, that will probably be a resort that we will eventually check out. And the Grand Floridian will probably be something that we eventually will explore. But Polynesian is always going to be our favorite because it is our favorite resort on property. And of course, guys, it is our home resort. And we were very fortunate to not only get our home resort to be our favorite resort. So what are the pros and the cons of being a Disney Vacation Club? Now, when it comes to the cons, there could be other people out there watching this video right now that are DVC members who may not agree with me on the cons. These are just these are just things that Dan and I feel are cons, but they're not deal breakers, okay? And I'm gonna go back to talking about price here in a minute. I just kind of wanna touch on the pros and cons of DVC. So I have a little list here. So one of the cons is, okay, so at your home resort, you can book a trip 11 months out, okay? Non-DVC cash paying visitors that are coming to Disney World can book, I believe, up to 449 days out, okay? I wish I had a little more flexibility with that 11th month window. I wish it was more like 18 months. You know, was it a deal breaker? No, because we're Disney Vacation Club members. So at your home resort, you can book a Walt Disney World, you know, room at 11 months out. Now, at any other deluxe resort, guys, you can book 7 months out, okay? So what you do is, and it was recommended to us when we had our welcome consultation call on the phone with a DVC cast member, was always book your home resort. Always book your home resort. And then at the 7th month mark, if you know that you really want to stay somewhere else, so we'll just use my example. So we book at the Polynesian, but we really would like to try the beach club, or we really would like to try Fort Wilderness. So at the 7th month mark, I call DVC, okay, and I say, you know, is there any room availability for the amount of points I want to use at the beach club or at Fort Wilderness Lodge? And if they say, no, there's not, but we can put you on a waiting list, then what they can do is they can put me on a waiting list up to 2 resorts, okay? And if something becomes available, whether it's option 1 or option 2, whichever one comes available first, that's the one that I would have to take, okay? So you may not always get the resort that you want for that particular vacation, okay? And the reason it's 11 months out at your home resort, because that is your home resort, and then it's 7 months at another resort, it's because all of those people are meeting their 11th month mark. Okay, and it has to be, you know, for them because that's their home resort. So when it comes to the 7th month mark, guys, you're kind of playing a little bit of a game there. And sometimes you could be a week out from leaving from your trip, and all of a sudden Disney Vacation Club call you and say, hey, guess what? We have a room. Do you still want it? You know, or 2 or 3 days from your trip. Hey, something popped up. Do you want it? And it could be because those home resort people are switching out also at their 7th month mark. So again, it's moving people through the resorts. I mean, those cast members must know what they're doing because they seem well knowledgeable in that, you know, how all that flows together based on, you know, what they were saying. So that's just kind of like a little con there. You may not always get the deluxe resort that you were hoping to get for that trip, especially if it's not your home resort. So keep that in mind. The other thing was no extra deals. So you're not going to get free dining, and I've already talked about that. You know, I've already said that Dan and I do not feel free dining is necessarily free dining. We feel it's more of a marketing strategy to get people to come to Disney. But DVC members do not get free dining. I mean, if we got free dining and then we're paying points for our room, then all we're paying for is park tickets. The numbers aren't going to add up right for Disney in making a profit there. So DVC members do not get any deals like that. The other thing is, and this is something that for some it may be so minor, but for Dan and I, we're like, no. And hopefully this doesn't, hopefully I don't sound condescending when I say this, and I've heard some people being okay with this, and that's fine if you're okay with it. I particularly am not, but with Disney Vacation Club, okay, they do not come in and clean your room daily, okay? They come in every 4th day and clean your room. And whereas if you're a cash paying customer, they are going in there every day, giving you clean towels, making the beds, emptying the trash. They're not doing that with Disney Vacation Club members in their rooms because it's a feeling of home. And personally, I'm okay with them not coming in and making my bed because at home, we make our beds every day. Unless you're sick, it's a rule in our house, you make your bed, okay? Because you're not gonna be laying in it. And so beds get made, you know, Sunday through Friday or Sunday through Saturday, you know, every day. It's just kind of like a thing we have in our house. So I don't mind waking up in the morning at my home resort making my bed, no big deal. What bothered Dan and I was the towels. I was like, every 4 days I'm gonna get fresh towels? I was like, no, I don't. If you operate that way in your home, that is fine, but no, I need fresh towels, guys, I do. And when we were talking to our DVC representative on the phone, we brought that up, and he was great about saying, you know what, if you go up to the concierge, you tell them, they'll make sure that you get, you know, clean towels in your room daily. You know, they'll make a note of that DVC member wants clean towels. So, and even the lady on the phone had said that. She says, you just go up there, tell them, you know, that it really bothers you, and I am most certain that they will accommodate you. So I'm okay with the whole not coming in my room every day, but I need clean towels. And I just, personally for me, I don't necessarily like the concept of coming into the room every 4 days. It kind of be like maybe if you came in every other day. I mean, I do collect trash. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not a deal breaker, especially if I know they're gonna be delivering clean towels to the room because we really requested it. So, but that was the only other thing. The pros about Disney Vacation Club is you no longer have to worry about how much more is it going to cost this year to go to Disney? How much more is it going to cost for that room? Because rates are always changing on rooms. Disney has this thing about increasing rates, and when it comes to those deluxe resorts, it's hit hard on those deluxe resorts. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. I had to go get a drink of water. I just kind of went off in a coughing tangent. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is cash rooms versus DVC rooms. I want to reassure you that if you're not a Disney Vacation Club member, Disney is not, and you're staying in a DVC room like we stayed in a deluxe studio this, you know, past trip. I want to reassure you that Disney's not going to bump you out of your room in order to put a DVC member in there, okay? For example, at the Polynesian, they have so many rooms that are cash-only rooms, and then they have what's called your DVC rooms, okay? So please don't feel that you're going to get bumped, okay, because a DVC member calls and they need that room. Disney's not going to do that. You're in a cash only room. Now, I do know when we got back from Disney in March, DVC had just released news that they brought more studio rooms, and this is on the DVC news website, and it was also on the DVC Facebook page. They had brought more rooms from the cash only rooms over into the DVC column, and they did that in Tuvalu. From what I understand, in Tuvalu, the first floor is DVC, the second floor is DVC. We stayed on the third floor. During our stay there, apparently they added more rooms to the DVC column on the third floor. So on the third floor of Tuvalu, there were still some cash-only rooms, and they just recently moved some of those studios over into the DVC column. And they do that as they begin to sell DVCs, okay? And that's what I mean by eventually they'll sell out. So I just wanted to clarify that they are not going, if you're like somebody's like, well, I'll lose my room to a DVC member because it is a DVC room. It's a villa that I'm staying in, or it's a bungalow, or it's a grand villa, or, you know, a studio. No, Disney's not going to bump you out to put someone like myself in there. And Disney's not going to bump me out to put you, a cash paying customer, into my room. I mean, Disney Vacation Club and the Disney company know what they're doing. So don't ever feel like you're going to get, bumped. So, but I will say that some of those deluxe studios at the Polynesian, I do know, because it was reported that in March of this year, they moved more studios over into the DVC column, and it was done in the Tukalu on the 3rd floor. So what I wanted to talk to you about, going back to pricing really quick. So in case you didn't catch in the video, guys, if you commit to becoming a DVC member, whether you make that commitment from home like we did, or you do it there in Disney, you're going to have to be prepared to put a minimum of 10% down at, when you're sitting, if you're at Disney and you're sitting there with the DVC representative cast member talking and you're like, yep, I want to do Disney Vacation Club, they're going to require a minimum of 10% down. On here, it was different price sheets for 10% and 20%. You can put even more down if you want, but they're requiring a minimum of 10% down. Why? It is to show good faith on your part, because when you commit to Disney Vacation Club, the gentleman doesn't turn around if you're at Disney and say, okay, here's your Disney Vacation Club package and it's ready to go. No, they need to do, this is our documents. I'm not going to go through our documents because it's our personal information, but Disney Vacation Club has to put this whole legal document folder together. It has your names, it has your information, it has your deeds, it has your contract. It's kind of like, buying a house. Sometimes you have to put money down to show good faith that, yes, you're interested in building this home. I know when we built our house, we had to put money down for the architect to draw up the blueprints, because that cost the builder money. So to show good faith, we had to put something down to say, yes, we mean business. We want to do business with you. So Disney Vacation Club requires a minimum of 10% down, and rightfully so. It is just a good faith, on your part that, yes, I'm serious about doing this, and you've already given them some of your money, so they know you're not playing games either. They take the money that you put down, of course, and apply it to the overall total. Another thing that the price does not show is your closing costs. So when I showed you these prices, guys, remember I showed you these prices right here? That does not include closing cost, okay? So you have to keep that in mind, and that is something you would have to go over with a DVC representative when you're on the phone with them. Now, if you decide not to purchase Disney Vacation Club finance, let's say you decide not to finance with them. When I was talking to Bonnie and we were talking to the gentleman at our church who does DVC, they didn't know how we were going to, pay for a Disney Vacation Club. We didn't divulge that information. And people that were at Disney, when we were talking to them and they were talking to us about DVC this last trip, again, they were just sharing their thoughts. Everybody we talked to all said do not finance through Disney because of the interest rates, okay? And the variable interest rates. And you never want a variable interest rate because then your payment's always fluctuates, which really isn't a good idea. So what I recommend is that you go to your local bank, because sometimes you can get an interest rate as low as 5, depending on your credit, depending on your bank, depending on what they're offering. But you could possibly get a lower interest rate and be able to afford a payment plan that is affordable for you and your family and still be able to purchase Disney Vacation Club. Guys, I highly recommend it if you're somebody who always stays at Deluxe resorts, okay? Because that is cash out the door, and it would just make more sense to take that money and put it into an investment. So it's something you really need, you need to think about. So The other thing is too, okay, first of all, I don't want to say how many points Dan and I bought, because if I say how many points we bought, then you'll know how much we spent on Disney Vacation Club. And Dan and I just feel that that is just personal, private information. We have no desire to even share that with our family. You know, it's just private. But the other option is to just pay for Disney Vacation Club up front and just kind of like get it out the door. This, I can't give you tons of information about financing with banks, but what I can tell you is if you do decide to pay out the door, number one, they don't give you a discount, okay? You would think if, oh, I'm just going to pay for all of this right now and be done with it. No, they don't give you a discount. You would think it would be nice, like, oh, you're going to pay cash, you know, you're going to pay up front. Okay, we'll give you 10% or off, or, you know, off your total, you know, or something. No, or we'll waive, you know, the closing cost or something. No. So what I recommend is that if you're going to be paying for Disney Vacation Club up front and you're home, I recommend that you get a bank draft from your bank. Our Disney Vacation Club didn't tell us this, but our bank did. When you do a draft, it's secured. It's money that the bank is securing. So if something happens to it in the mail, you're not out of that money, okay? Rather than, and I even asked the bank, well, why can't you just pay by debit card or credit card? And they said because it's electronic and an extra zero could be typed in, there could just be human error or a computer glitch or something, and we lose tracking of the money, or the bank said that's not a good idea. Again, they went back to the draft, not a cashier's check, but a bank draft. So if you're thinking about, well, I'm gonna possibly pay for Disney Vacation Club up front, then you might want to consider doing it with a bank draft. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure if I went over the pros of being a DVC member. Did I cover everything? No rate increase, special events. So if you're a DVC member, there's special events at the Magic Kingdom where they close the Magic Kingdom, and you can, you know, you and your DVC family, and if you have friends, you know, you can take them with you, and there's just special events, kind of like your own, you know, extra magic hours, you know, type of event. And they do that, you know, throughout the year for Disney Vacation Club members. You get discount perks, of course, in the parks and on park merchandise. You have a DVC lounge located in Epcot, and then you have a DVC lounge located at Bay Lake Tower at the top, where you can see the fireworks. They have a lounge, full bar, and they serve hors d'oeuvres up there and things like that. You do have to pay for the alcohol and hors d'oeuvres. And from what I understand, over at Saratoga Springs, they have a DVC ice cream parlor, which is really great too. And then some of the DVC members there on this particular trip were telling us about how the extra little perks were they get to do behind the scenes stuff for free because they're DVC members. One couple was going to do Soarin' behind the scenes, and they didn't have to pay for that. And then one of them were telling us that DVC members get to go into Pandora before it opens to the general public. So I thought that was really neat. Now, Disney Vacation Club, like I said, it's globally. So it's not only about Disney World, it's also about Disneyland, Disney Tokyo, Disney Paris, Disney Shanghai, Disney Japan, Disney Vero Beach, Disney Hilton Head, Disney Alani. So you can use your points all within the Disney resorts. Now, there's a thing called Disney Adventure that is RCI, and when you call Disney Vacation Club, if you tell them you want to speak to an RCI representative, they will connect you. And they did. We wanted to talk to an RCI representative just to see how it works. Very, very friendly, very knowledgeable. So RCI is more of a global timeshare, and with RCI, you convert your points to RCI points, and then that is where you take trips internationally. Usually, though, we found out through RCI, you have to plan those trips anywhere between a minimum of a year all the way to 2 years out, and RCI fluctuates on availability. So you would just have to call an RCI representative to see how your points could be used in where you want to go. And they have over 5,000 resorts globally. Tahiti, Bora Bora, Hawaii, but you have Alani's at Hawaii, the Cayman Islands, Bahamas, Cancun, Europe, I mean, Africa, I mean, oh my goodness, guys, it's just globally. So that's called Disney Adventure. And then you have Disney Cruises, where you could use DVC points towards Disney Cruises. And then they also do offer DVC cruises just for DVC members as well. So that is also something that you can look into if you decide to purchase Disney Vacation Club. So it's a global timeshare, but it's very different than a traditional timeshare, because with a traditional timeshare, guys, you are buying maybe into that condo, and you are buying into that week every year at that same spot. Whereas with Disney Vacation Club, even though the Polynesian is my home resort, I can go anytime during the 365 days a year, and I don't necessarily have to stay at that resort. I could stay at another resort, and I necessarily don't have to stay at a deluxe studio. I can stay in a bungalow if I want. So I'm able to maneuver myself a little bit more, and I don't necessarily have to go to Disney World. I can go to Disneyland, Vero Beach, Aulani, Hawaii, Tokyo, Japan, you know, I mean, it's very versatile. It's not a timeshare that's just for that specific week every year, and if you don't take advantage of it, you'll lose it. So it's very different than a traditional timeshare. So guys, I know a lot of information has been thrown at you about Disney Vacation Club, and I hope I did not leave anything out. Again, once you commit to buying and it is pretty much a done deal, Disney sees to it that you get all of your Disney documents. How it works is that you get a copy of everything, and then they get a copy, and you mail it back to them in a FedEx package. If you follow me on social media, then you saw how I said sending Disney mail back to Disney. And if you are going to be paying Disney in full at that time when you mail that FedEx package, guys, that's when you would mail that bank draft as well. And then, like I said, you can also look into your bank for financing, or a bank that would offer you a really good interest rate, and possibly see that if you can get payments that are affordable for you and your family. I know somebody that only stayed at Value Resorts until they bought into Disney Vacation Club. They were able to get an affordable payment plan to where they were paying for their Disney Vacation Club, and she said it was like a car note. And she said now we're able to stay at Deluxe Resorts, and we absolutely love it. And you know, that's how they were able to move from Value Resorts into Deluxes, by investing money into Disney Vacation Club. And it is a financial investment, guys, and it is one that I suggest you do not take lightly, that you think about it before. And call Disney Vacation Club. They'd be happy to talk to you. Request the free package that they send to you in the mail. And when you go to Disney World, take a half a day to spend some time with them and talk to them in person. They offer you free fast passes, and they take you over to Saratoga Springs and offer you refreshments and give you a tour of the different modular floor plans, which is something we plan on doing when we go back. But talk to a representative there. They would definitely be able to answer your questions a lot better than I could. So keep that in mind. So I hope this video was informative and very helpful for you guys. If you're not already a Life in Disney Mousketeer, feel free to hit that little subscribe button down below. And to all my current Mousketeers, thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. So until next time, guys, y'all take care. Y'all have a magical day and a magical week. And I will see y'all later, Mousketeers. Bye-bye.